That was my first lesson. He was basically like, um, you know, don't give too much. Starting with your face, you're beautiful. Don't give too much. And I know, and it's like in these days, women are giving everything, and that's why. And there's so much pain and heartache and cyclical pain that's just happening between men and women right now because women
Mhm.
are not being women and men are not being men, and women are sharing everything and leaving nothing to the imagination when all he got to see is this and he could desire you. But I think women don't know that.
I am Phoenix Jackson, and after 18 years as an award winning business leader, I'm here to share, guide, and inspire you on your journey upward and inward. I want you to live an empowered existence because you deserve it. This is a spiritual space for those seeking to make a difference in their lives and the lives of others. We will talk life design, healing, spirituality, and business. I'm sharing what I know to be true. Thank you for being here. Let's go within.
Just might upsave my soul if you.
Hey, hey, hey. All right. Okay, listen, this is our first time getting this StreamYard together. So this is new for us. So just please forgive us. I want to introduce myself. I am Phoenix Jackson. I am the CEO and founder of the Phoenix Effect. We are a 16-year-old global marketing and strategic development firm out of Colorado. Have a second office here in Houston. And I also started the Fly with Phoenix group because I had people who have read my book, who have been to some of my speeches, who have been around, who've been like, hey, why don't you create something that's for the public? And I was like, you know what? Let me think about that. Let me think what that looks like, what that feels like. We're still flushing it out, still figuring out, what our audience really needs, but we are here for you ladies and gentlemen. So let us know what you're at, what you desire. All right. Um, right now, I am going to introduce you all to my beautiful co-host today. Listen, this is Miss Nikki Thomas. She is, a radio host for multiple decades, have done public speaking, have been someone who has been out there just, speaking, empowering, designing, yoga training, meditation training, all the fun things with women. And listen, ladies, listen, Linda, listen. I know she looked like she all but 25, and I'm not gonna tell y'all what her age is,
I'll
but
tell you later. Just stay tuned.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, just stay tuned, honey. She's a gorgeous spirit through and through. And we connected, I want to say during COVID because we were both on that for that.
Ambulance event. Hmm.
Yes, exactly. And it was like, you know what? I like this person. I like this person. We just connected. And she works directly to in Phoenix Effect, by the way. She's our social media and design manager. She does awesome work. She's fabulous and
Hmm.
love her to pieces. So,
Thank you so much.
welcome, Nikki. Thank you, and I'm gonna love like hearing you chime in on just this conversation that we are talking about today. Everyone, we are talking about dating for the high-powered woman. Now,
Hmm.
as to not leave anybody out, okay,
Hmm.
high-powered means if you are out here working, taking care of yourself, paying your own bills, pay whether you're renting or owning, got your own car, living your own life, out here dipping and doing, sort of taking care and governing yourself. You are the leader and the governor of your own existence. To me, you're a high-powered woman. All right. If you're a woman who are
Hmm.
out here trying to raise your child or children, whether you're never been married or whether you're divorced or what may have you, to me, you are a high-powered woman. If you're a woman
Hmm.
who's out here just, whether you're surviving, trying to learn how to thrive, or you are thriving, you're a high-powered woman. Women are doing so much to just grow, to heal, to evolve, and dating right now is a hot button topic.
It
It's
is.
it's an issue. What do you think about that, Nikki? Come
You
on,
know,
let's
I think you could insert the word high vibration woman,
mm,
high self esteem having woman, high standards woman. you can insert so many things in there to say the same thing as high powered. And you
Yes.
know, if you want to claim the title, I say go ahead and claim it. Um, and the thing is, we did meet at Angela's event. It was her virtual event. But the thing that I learned from Angela was that dating is something that helps you to get to know yourself.
Mm,
There's specific issues that we may or may not have that may or may not show up only when we're dating. They don't show up when we're just kind of out here being single and free. The
right.
issues come in when the relationship comes in. So we have to practice and we have to date more to know how to date better. So, I love the fact that, this was born out of a conversation you and I had. And I said, wow, I think a lot of people would want to kind of be in on this conversation because, when you speak, I take notes, Phoenix. I don't know about anybody else, but I take notes. So, I'm looking forward to talking, listening, and making some internal shifts
Yes.
around how I look
Well,
at this.
it's interesting because me and you both are in different spaces, but we've been in some similar spaces in the past with our as it pertains to our dating. For anyone who doesn't know me, who's actually watching this, um, I am a divorced mother of one. I'm 36.
Hmm.
I have been proposed to multiple times. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother episode.
Mm.
But um, I've had to I had a certain way of dating that really worked for me, and then I got away from that for a little bit, which I
Hmm.
realized didn't work for me, and had to bump my head against the wall a few times and sort of make some mistakes. And then I went back to my original insight of what I understood about dating. Um, and a lot, it's interesting for me to say this, but it's real. A lot of my dating habits came from being raised by a man,
Wow.
you know? And so I
Mm.
hear a lot of women who are like, um, they're like, hey, I didn't have a father, so they recognize that they're missing certain things. You have some women who even have their fathers at home, but their fathers necessarily teach them about the minds of
Right.
men.
Right.
And for me, I was so freakishly observant as a kid because I was a traumatized child. So when you go through trauma, it makes you hyper aware of everything that's going
Hmm.
on.
Hmm.
And so I picked up and saw everything, like what to do, what not to do, what definitely not to do. Like I saw the good, the good, the bad, the ugly as in dating, and I saw multiple types of relationships. I saw multiple types of relationships.
Wow.
Sorry, my
Okay. So, okay, you saw a lot of things, and
mm-hmm.
I want to know more about this certain way. You said a certain way of dating. So, um, that's great that you had a framework or something. It sounds like.
Yes, I did. So this is going to sound so interesting, but it's real. One of the first things that my father told me about men when I was like 12 years old, my dad was like, "Baby, if you smile at a man, he's gonna think you want him." Right? And I'm 12, right? I'm 12. But then I realized as I got a little bit older, and you could take that multiple ways, but I realized I got older that wow, when I am kind, and I do talk to people and smile and da da da. Da. And so I think men automatically think that you're flirting, and it's like, no, I'm not flirting with you. I'm just being nice.
Hmm.
But that was the first lesson. My dad's like, men don't see a woman being nice. They think that, oh, she's giving me a little bit of a yellow light, a little bit of a green light because she's being kind to me. But what I have done is I've used that kindness to even reject them properly. So we'll talk about how to properly reject someone that you know that you ain't feeling. So I use
Hmm.
that kindness to even lean over into that space. But that was my first lesson. He was basically like, um, you know, don't give too much. Starting with your face, you're beautiful. Don't give too much. And I know, and it's like in these days, women are given everything, and that's why. And there's so much pain and heartache and cyclical pain that's just happening between men and women right now because women are not being women and men are not being men, and women are sharing everything and leaving nothing to the imagination when all he got to see is this. and he could desire you. But I think women don't know that. But that's a whole nother conversation.
Uh,
What are you gonna say?
yeah, I kind of want to jump in because number one, I have the opposite problem. I've got
Mhm.
like, resting bee face. So, I'm told I look mean and unapproachable. Um, so it's almost like there's a certain type of guy that will approach because it's a requirement for me. It's like I might smile and say hello, but you got to come over here and say something. That's test number one that you've got to pass.
Right.
Um, and it's interesting. We said we were, going to put the age out. I'm 52.
She's
I've never been.
52.
I'm
She's
52.
52.
Yes, ma'am. Very
She's
proud
32.
too.
She lying to you. She's 32. No, she really is 52. She doesn't look it. She's gorgeous. Doesn't look
Thank
it.
you. But I've never been married. And just kind of flailing about. It never was the goal to get married.
Right.
So, the observation that I make is that for women, we get tired of the game at some point.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of seems that men, it either takes them a much longer time or they never get tired and they never come out of the default. It's a woman, let me go try to holler at her. It's
Right.
a woman, let me just run this game and see how far I can get. So it's amazing to me that, the 40, 50, year old men. So I'm not a big dater.
Right.
To be honest, I'm not a big dater at all. The dating process, the online dating, et cetera, et cetera. And, I feel like I could use the framework or, some more structure in the way I approach it. So, I appreciate what you're saying and the fact that, you say you were raised by a man. It's like, that ought to give you some specific superpowers.
Listen, y'all don't even know. And we would have to it would have to be a series of a podcast series of a
Mm-hmm.
whole season for
Mm-hmm.
me to tell you guys what I learned from being raised by my dad
Mm-hmm.
that I know I wouldn't have gotten from a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Some things good, some things bad, some things indifferent, but they were lessons. But okay, so let's get into it though. Let's get into it concerning just some core tips on what you need to do out here in these streets. And like I put in my post, there's potholes in these streets and some dead carcasses are on the streets. Poor there's all these different things, and women and men are struggling. I don't want, let's change our framework really quick too before we jump into some tips. We hear women the loudest because women are more vocal
Mm-hmm.
concerning, like, oh my God, there's not this out here, there's not that out here, what's going on with this, what's going on with that. But the reality is, there are men saying the same thing. I don't know how many men I've met who like literally have said, I don't think I'm gonna be able to find my wife out here in these streets. Okay, so the first thing I always tell people when dating, because
Mm-hmm.
I've never done online dating.
Really?
I was on Bumble for 5 days because one of my girlfriends set up me a profile. It was too much energy. It was too many. It was too much. It was too much. I shut it down. But for all these years, I've now been divorced for 11 years. And I've been, dating. I've been in a few serious relationships and things like that. But one thing that's always happened, and I've met every last one of the guys except for maybe one, all the same way, which has to do with this first tip.
Mm-hmm.
Soyo, 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 sexy on your own. One mistake I see women making all the time, like clockwork, is they roll out with 3 to 4 to 5 women at a time. And it's crazy, but I see that I live in Houston now, and I especially see this here in Houston. I'll go out to a little bar, a little lounge, or have a business dinner somewhere with maybe just one person, and I'll look around at women, and it's like tables of 4 or 5, 6 women. And I remember I went into one place, a beautiful spot. I looked around, and I was there with one of my business clients who's a man, but people I probably obviously thought it was a date, but he's been my client for years. We were sitting talking and hashing out some business stuff over dinner, and there were probably 8 men in the room and like 40 women in the room. And guess what those 8 men did?
What?
They didn't roll up on the tables with all the women. They probably found maybe when it's 2 women, oh, let me go, then they would be like a little fearless about going to go talk to just those 2 women. Approaching 4 women is a bit much. And then it's a divide and conquer thing. Well, he now has to choose between you and your beautiful friends.
Mm.
And not that anything's about a competition, but you can't give a man that many choices.
Wow.
If something I did learn from my father is that men are actually quite simple. You can't give a man that many choices. If a man has too many choices, he's going to take forever deciding, because he's going to be in his head about, okay, well, this choice brings this benefit and pros and cons. This choice brings this benefit and pros and cons. They're going to literally take forever making a decision because they don't have to, So you're giving them 4, 5, 6 girls to choose from. Well, why would you do that? So I would say sexy on your own. I tend to meet guys when I was out, and just out and about. I always tended to meet guys when I really wasn't looking and when I was by myself. Or let's say I did come with a couple of people. I would separate myself from the group, make my rounds around the room, talk to people, go into groups, say hi, just sort of put that extroverted face, face on. And I always noticed that the men were like, wow, she's by herself. And they would easily just come up and say, I saw you over here by yourself and you're so beautiful and I've never seen you before. And then they'll just start talking. And there's less intimidation because they're not trying to meet you and get to know you with a cadre of spectators. They're just focused on you.
Right.
And I've met multiple men that way.
Wow.
I remember this is a story. I got so many fun dating stories. Some are interesting, some are fun. But I remember years ago, the first person I dated outside of my divorce. It's actually second person. I was out with a group of girls, but at one point they were getting a little wild. And I was chilling, First of all, I had more clothes on than everybody because I wasn't used to being in nightclubs and stuff at that point. I had been married my whole adult life. And he rolled over to me and was like, introduced himself and, hey, first of all, I want to congratulate you. You have on a pencil skirt in the club. Like, you look very professional, but you look sexy. And are those your friends? Who they turning up? But I like that you're kind of over here doing your own thing. And I wasn't sitting there like a little wildflower. I was up just in my own little space, having a good time, looking approachable. And he came over, and he was definitely one of the more attractive men in the room, and came over and was like, hey, I want to get to know you. And for a year and a half, we were getting to know each other.
I like it.
But go solo. Like, and with that, with going solo, some people may say, well, I don't know what to do by myself. Well, that's when you step out and just think about what hobbies could you get into? What do you like? For instance, I like stand-up comedy. So guess what I'm doing Sunday night? I'm going to the Big Hobby Center. I got like a second row seat at a comedy show. I'm about to sit and laugh at a legend and have a good time. I'm going by myself.
That's my favorite. I am a introvert, despite 30 years of radio. What did I just drop? I'm an introvert, and I like being places. I kind of like connecting one-on-one. So I tend to form just a handful of deep relationships. But I think that's excellent advice, though, because when you're by yourself, you know yourself very well.
Yeah. And people are such in a rush to couple up, but they haven't even realized who they are. So, and preparing yourself to date, that's a whole nother show. So we ain't gonna even go there. But like just the base tips, like, yeah, going out on your own, figuring out the things you like to do. Go to a museum on your own, art
Hmm.
museums, science museums. Go take a glass blowing class, which somebody planning to do here pretty soon. Go do the clay classes. Go take a paint and sip class. Like, take time to just go places by yourself that you normally wouldn't go. Go to the library. They're still open, guys. Libraries still exist, and there's always your brother's library. Um, Go to galas by yourself. Go to, events and summits. One thing I've noticed with a couple of people, they've gone to like music summits, or they've gone to Afro Tech, or they've gone to um, uh, South Music by Southwest, or
South
yeah,
by Southwest, I
South
think.
by Southwest. They'll go there and they meet people. They'll find something that interests them and they'll go. I know somebody would say, "Well, I don't always have the money to travel or do this, and this." There's stuff in your city. You could get on
So much.
meetup.com, or you get on Eventbrite and type in your city and say events in your city. You could say Black events in your city, and guess
Hmm.
what? Black events are going to show up.
Right, right. And that's some of the best places. You're saying like the museum, number one, you're on a date with yourself. Look at it that
Hmm.
way. And
Yep.
then you can connect. It's because I know as I know you're, you're a parent. Um it's a fine line because sometimes you don't know who, what, where you are when you're busy being, an entrepreneur and being a mom and you're taking care of something at all times. So just kind of being out by yourself, take it,
Yep.
museum, and then I'm going to go do lunch. I'm going to go for a walk, So it's so pleasant to just enjoy your own company,
The
and
world is vast.
yeah, and it makes you super attractive.
It does. So that was the thing I was getting at with that. So thank you for saying that. Your energy, when you're doing things for yourself and you're just out and you're about and you're just being, it
Hmm.
opens you up to attract. When we're happy and our emotions are on track, our spirit can receive better. It's hard for us to receive when we are sort of suffocating the fact that I can't wait to get this person in my life. I want this, I want that. You're suffocating the energy, it's going to die. Release it, be out and about, show up looking like your beautiful self that you know that you are,
Hmm.
and allow the energy to come to you. It's going to come.
Oh yeah,
You have to be
that's
open
it.
to receiving it. And you
Yeah,
know a
if
story about this, Nikki.
I
Things
do.
happening and coming. Now, I ain't gonna put you on the spot. So
I mean, whenever you're ready, whenever you're ready for the story, let me know. I think that's a powerful one too. Just be open. I'm trying to think of the words. I've read in a few places that we're out to get and we're
Mhm.
not out to give. That's part of the problem. And you could apply that to love or business or anything.
Yeah.
I think I read it as a key to abundance because, like, if you already have a massive amount of love for yourself. If you already have that massive amount of love, you're going to attract more of it. If you have a bunch of money when you walk in the bank, they're going to wine and dine you and treat you like royalty because they want you as a part of what they have. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
here's more abundance walking in the room. Here's more love walking in the room. So it's there's a certain thing that kind of shifted for me recently. And like I said, whenever you're ready for the story, I'm ready. But
Listen, I'm ready for it now because I want. You've always been a manifestor. You've always been magical.
oh,
You just have. And so, from what I know about your story, just what I know about you personally, and you've wanted to travel. Um, and you attracted a situation for you that has allotted you to live in that balance and abundance that you are.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I'm not going to say, oh, people literally text and there's, a few texting. What did you do? Tell me what you did. What kind of vision board did you make? And if you ask me what I did nothing. I didn't do anything. Um, if there's a mantra that I can share, I would be like, it's easy,
Mhm.
easy. I'm about to be easy, an easy millionaire. It's going to be some easy love. It's going to be an easy situation.
Mhm.
Um, and that's biblical if we're really going to break things down. And suddenly, so if you just open to receive that in your life, and suddenly everything could totally change about every dang thing. And suddenly, I think, was it Iyanla Van Zandt who was broke? And then
Yeah.
at the end of the day, she was a millionaire because something broke through for her, and she
Mm-hmm.
just all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I transitioned from full time to part time at my job, moved to New Orleans to be closer to my family, and how can I put it all in a nutshell? Had it in my head that the plan was I was going to, come stay for like a year, year and a half, and then travel.
Mm-hmm.
But I was here for a month, and a travel situation, a travel dating situation happened. That's how to put it in a nutshell. It was a travel dating situation. So the only way I can even describe it was and suddenly, because I
Yes.
know
Yeah.
everybody ain't got like all night for me to tell the story. And suddenly,
Yes. Yes.
that's it in a nutshell. And suddenly, so it starts in here
Yeah.
and it radiates out. It's not
Yes.
anything you have to go get. You know
Yes.
what I mean? We gotta get, you gotta go, gotta do, gotta. You don't gonna do any of that.
No.
It's
No.
in here. Your work, your soul work, your how much you're taking care of your body, your meditation. I mean, I'm a yoga instructor. Getting in there and focusing and breathing. Trust me, that's the thing I learned over the last year, honey. It works. Your
Yes.
soul work works.
Your
EF,
soul work. Let
the
me
EFT
let
tapping,
it.
I would get up in the morning and do my EFT tapping and do yoga and meditation. It works.
Your
Okay.
soul works.
Mm, mm,
Wow.
mm.
Wow.
That's
Um,
it.
yeah, and then your soul work was working and you opened up, met this marvelous person, and you guys have just been traveling and being
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
building. Oh, I know a lot of people want that. Listen, they're like, listen, I know a lot of people are like, hey,
Wait, what?
uh,
Yeah, but that's it. That's it.
freedom.
And I'm not saying it's perfect or easy or anything, but
Right.
it's work in progress. Again, it's soul work. The thing itself is soul work too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
That.
uh, and we should not make anybody else special.
Mm-hmm.
All my spirit seekers will know what I mean. Making this person special and on a pedestal, even putting yourself on a pedestal.
Mm-hmm.
It just is.
Yeah.
After you get past that fantasy, then that work comes.
Yeah. Because you got to look at this person every day.
Mm,
That's
yes.
what I would tell people like, listen, marriage is great until you got to wake up and look at the same person every day. That's marriage. That's real life.
Let me tell
Marriage
you,
is not this stuff that everybody's plastering over social
it's
media,
not.
saying,
No.
oh my God, look at my husband on the beach. Oh my God, look at us doing this. Oh my God, look at us doing that. First of all, anything that is being observed changes. It's no longer its highest essence. So the fact that you're taking pictures of you and your spouse and stuff all the time, anyway, it's not a good thing.
Girl, you better preach the quantum
Not
physics
a
in here,
good
okay? If it's
thing.
observed.
It is not a good thing. You
Hmm.
need to just
Hmm.
be,
So,
be.
so, so sexy on your own. And okay, now what's number two? I want to make sure I put them
Okay,
up here.
okay, thank you. See, we went all we're over here for a second. Number two, I always tell women as they meet men is to find out your true non-negotiables. There's a such thing as red flags, but that's what someone shows you. A non-negotiable is like, what do you know about yourself? And what do you know about your own needs? To where if a man comes to you and he does not fulfill that need, you know that you have to let that man go.
Mm.
You don't hold on to that person. You don't hold on to the situation if they are not fulfilling your needs. So when you're finding, like I said, when you're finding your true non-negotiables, it's not about the red flags that the person's showing you. It is about your own needs. What do you need from someone to make this thing work? Or if you're better off without this person, then stay over here where you're by yourself. But if that need is, if whatever your non-negotiable need is, if they are not fulfilling it, you got to let them go. And if they are, now that's something okay that you can work with. For me, for instance, one of my non-negotiables is that I can't be with a man who doesn't listen to me. I can't be with a man who doesn't listen to me because I'm too intelligent and all these things. I'm not gonna brag on myself, but I know too much for the man that I choose to marry not to listen to me. I get paid for I get paid to think, okay, why would I marry someone who doesn't want to take advantage of that or who won't sit down and humbly listen to, like, this is how we're going to handle this business deal, this is how we're going to do this is how we're going to do that. Like, this is 3 steps ahead over here. Like, that's a non-negotiable. Man who's like, I ain't listening to you about that. I could never be with him. And I had a relationship like that where I truly loved someone and they just would not listen to me. They just felt like they needed to be in the lead 100% of the time. It was like, no, dude, you're the head and I'm the neck. Let me let you know which way we need to go. Let's go, you know. But I found that was a non-negotiable for me. Mm-hmm. I couldn't marry someone like that. What is a non-negotiable, do you think, for you? What's a need that you have, a core need that you have? If they don't fulfill this need, can't be with them.
Yeah, and listening to your expertise and listening, period. I like to talk. I like to connect. I had a nightmare of a situation a few years ago with a young man. He was younger than me and just did not like to have conversation. It was torment. It was a torment. And, for me, I was attracted to him and there was all these other great things. And that was a situation where I didn't make that a non-negotiable. Okay, listen, this is not a situation where we're speaking to each other. You have to like me.
Yeah.
You can't just be attracted to me. You have to like me. Mm-hmm. So, that's excellent the way you've worded this. The things that you absolutely need, because it's been so many situations where it's like I'm just there and I'm not getting what I need.
Right. Oh, we've all been there. Listen, we have all been there. Mm-hmm. And then the third thing I would tell someone when they're dating, and this was actually told to me by someone who was on their second marriage. And They have been married for 20 plus years. They got it right. They're still with the person. They got it right the second time. They didn't get it right the first time. They got it right the second time. And what they said made so much sense to me. So this is the third tip. Mm-hmm. Find someone who speaks your language. Lord Jesus. Because I heard him out. Look over here. Find someone who speaks your language. What do you mean? And no, I'm not talking about English, Spanish, Swahili, Mandarin. No, I'm not talking about languages in that regard. I'm talking about languages as it pertains to how you guys see and view the world, how you guys process your emotions verbally, and just how you guys communicate. People can be of different, even spiritual systems in different religions and be married if they speak in the same language, if their values and character is in alignment. But let me give you an example, because I got the examples for this. Let me just give you an example. I dated someone once, and I wouldn't even say I dated them. I didn't date them. They were around for like a week and a half or something like that. Seriously, because I really realized, I was like, man, this person does not speak the same language. So drastically so, right? The person was, when I went out of town on a business trip and was out and having a good time with the girls, and everybody's just dancing around, and our cohort, was fun. He was the most attractive guy around. Okay, I ain't gonna lie, this guy was very attractive. And so, he did his approach thing. He was very chivalrous. And even for the next 2 days that I got a chance to know him and see him and go out to brunch and all that, he was just still this chivalrous guy. But when he opened his mouth, and even when we talked on the phone every day since the day we met, I was like, this guy, we don't speak the same language. like his vernacular, his cadence, even in his voice, how he
Mhm.
processed sentences and thoughts. It was like we don't connect from a communication standpoint, and to me, that's the most important thing between a couple:
Mhm.
is their ability
Mhm.
to talk and share and physically
Right.
touch.
Mhm. Mhm.
And like I said, it even lasted a week and a half. And I was like, hey, I'm sorry. I had to just let them know that, you're great, but I just, and I gave some excuse of why. How do you tell somebody you don't like the way they talk and you don't like their cadence of vernacular, and that you guys don't, it's not like that person wasn't smart, but my brain and how I speak and communicate was like 3 times as aligned than his. And it was like, you're not
Mhm.
going to be able to follow and track everything that I'm talking about. So,
Yeah, and this a lot of layers to this one. I mean, there is
yeah.
language, your communication style.
Hmm.
There is, the frequency of your communication, and then there's your love language.
Yep.
But love language can be learned. To learn the other person's love language and have them learn yours.
Yeah.
All of these things are so important because love or a relationship is nothing if you don't feel seen, heard, and if you have to feel safe with that person. And that's for women and men.
Yeah.
Women and men. It's something that women have been using for a minute, but men too. And I'll share right quick that one of the bumps in the road current situation was that me not understanding that this person had feelings too. We
Mm.
often treat our men like we're the delicate flower and they
Mm.
don't have any feelings.
Right, and they do. They
And
have they
it's
have the deepest feelings. They have the
they they
deepest
they're
feelings.
so much more emotional. They're
Ah,
they're deeper emotional than we, because it's like they're trained not to
mhm.
display it. And we are, but it's like they hold so much inside and they need safe space too. So the thing that made me learn it very quick was that this person verbally said it one day and I had no clue. I was on the moon. It's like, no, you hurt me and you pissed me off. So it was very plain language.
Yes,
You know
clear.
what I mean? I was like, wait a minute. I didn't realize I could hurt your feelings. So I had to come out of that blind spot very quickly.
Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
to come out of that very quickly. So, it again, it takes, this is work. None of this stuff is just skipping through the days. I don't care how cute it looks on social media.
Right.
It's,
Right.
it's about to be some work in here. And, the whole learning, discovering, and making sure that you're creating a safe space for the both of you is deeper than we were ever taught.
Yes. Yes. And you know, I had someone tell me once that, you know, the reason why they left their marriage with their
Mm.
wife was because their wife did not create a safe space for them. And I have heard multiple men say that. Or I left that relationship because it's like, I'm about to my son's business on the street real quick. My son and his girlfriend broke up yesterday. And
Mm.
today we talked for an hour after school, and he said to me, he was like, I was doing this right, I was doing this, I was blah blah blah, and her insecurities, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, after a while, I just realized she's not her pettiness and her insecurities are going to get in the way and distract me from my goals and where I gotta go, and I can't deal with a toxic person. This is my 16-year-old son.
This proves that you've been giving him some of the magic dust.
Well, he's gonna always have a safe space with me. And so we talked and joked around, and I was like, and I just kind of gave him some advice about girls and their insecurities, and that him at his big young age
Mhm.
has no space to absorb anybody else's pain right now.
Right.
So he cannot, under any circumstance, be in a relationship that is toxic, or the person's showing, repetitive toxic behavior. Like, we don't have time for that.
Hmm.
But then I
Hmm.
also ask him, well, how you feeling? Are we talk, or and ask him how he's feeling often. I mean, it's since I know he was sensitive when he was a little boy, so it's like, yeah, I'm gonna ask you how you feel. But he's also tough. He's like he's a lion, so he's
Hmm.
tough. But he wants somebody to curl up under just in case he ever gotta he don't want He just don't want to roar today.
Right.
And I think that's all men. But I really see it in my son.
And all people who are strong, people that you think are strong,
Yes.
absolutely need a safe space because I know you've experienced it. I've experienced it. People
Mhm.
don't think that you have the needs,
Right.
but your strong friends or your strong spouse or significant other, um, nobody's checking on them because everybody thinks that they've got everything covered. So that can be a really big mistake because again, everybody wants to feel loved, seen, heard,
Mm-hmm.
supported, safe. So it's so I'm glad that we have more of these conversations nowadays.
It was a long time coming because I don't think when it comes to our grandparents and stuff,
Oh no.
they had such a traditional relationship that I don't really remember. I know the men would talk to each other. So watching my dad and grandfather and stuff, I know the men would talk to each other,
Hmm.
but it only went so deep. Whereas if men and women were talking to each other, it would have went deeper. Maybe now we're actually talking to each other, or at least talking at each other, so we
Hmm.
can figure out what each other needs, along this path.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, okay, are we ready to go on to the next one? The next tip?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
4. All right. Get out of your regular circle.
Whew. Girl, okay, see, listen.
You are if you go to the same spots every weekend, the same places after work, the same activities, guess what? You're going to keep running into the same people.
Girl, I need to upgrade this one a little bit. I need to add a little
Come
something
on,
on to it.
come
Because
on, upgrade it.
you get out of your circle, you might have to get out of your city.
Mm,
For
yep.
me, again, I've done radio for 30 years and I've been on the radio in the Bay for 20. And I definitely had to get out of the circle of people that knew me on the radio as Nikki. It
Mm,
was trouble in and of itself because they thought they knew me or they
right.
had something in there that they had whatever reaction to. And I was like, I know I need to be at blank, at zero when I meet you.
Yes.
I,
That's
I, I want I want the cup to
you were
be,
a celebrity in that regard. And
and
so,
I'm not a celebrity. That's the other
but
thing.
you were known. You were known.
But the reality of it is that I'm not. And it's like I have needs and things that I want. So
Mm,
I saw it brought out a lot of fears and irrational things with a lot of people that I was dating. And it's terrible, but that's not, not about to make that my problem that, I've got to come out of, and do all these different things. Um, so yeah, getting out of your regular circle, disrupt your life some way.
mhm.
Um, and it's like if your circle and it's somewhere you've been for many years, it's a necessity. If it's a work or professional circle or whatever, um, so much more success outside of it. It's like when Dorothy stepped out of the black and white picture and went into Technicolor.
Yes.
It's a whole different thing. Go to just, go spend some time in another city and see it's a whole different energy. Bay Area men are way different than New York brothers.
Oh, oh.
Oh,
And New York is different from the Midwest
yes.
to the South to the oh, excuse me, everywhere. Yes, you are 100% correct. Different breed, different vernacular, different a lot of things. Um, yeah, yeah. That and you're right. Stop fishing out the same pond, honey. Go to the ocean. Go to the ocean. Um, and then the next thing I wanted to talk about. So we have, the SOYO, your non-negotiables, your needs, communication, speaking the same language, getting out of your regular circle. And then the next thing is lead with your mind. So I say that because I have 50 examples of men always saying the reason why I'm in my 40s and I haven't married because all these women are the same. They're dressing the same. They're what they talk about is the same. Oh, okay, maybe she's a AKA and she's a Delta. That's the only thing that's different about them.
Okay.
Same everything. And they're like, but they're gorgeous, but they're the same. Or they're gorgeous, but they have no substance.
Mm-hmm.
Even the ones who are quote unquote in those positions, like maybe they're a doctor or they're a lawyer or engineer or something like that. I always hear that, or nurse or women have. I always hear that these men are like these women are like the same,
Mm.
and they don't have substance. And I always have an issue with it in my mind because all of my girlfriends are very beautiful, intellectual, spiritual,
Mm.
intelligent, just women. And so I'm like, well, these, I know plenty of women like this, but then I think about it outside of the women I know. And when I actually go to a broader base of women, I realize, wait a minute, these men are right. Even I had to do a live interview today for about 30 minutes about purpose earlier today on someone's Facebook Live. And the guy wrote in a comment, man, I want to marry you just off your mindset. You know how many times I hear stuff like that, where they're like, wow, the way you think and the way you're seeing life and you're diving deeper into thought about things, and so many vast subjects and topics, and you can have conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and you've gone through a lot of stuff too, which have grown you, and you can speak to that stuff as well.
Right.
Show them who you are. Talk about your, not always just what happened to you, but also like how'd you evolve and grow out of that. Share with them about how some things may have made you feel. Talk to them about not just what you do, but why you do what you do. Like take your conversations another level deeper. Excuse me. Oh, my lungs haven't been recovering from all the travel I've been doing. I'm so sorry.
Take your time, girl.
Take some time to just like show them who you actually are versus look what I have and look what I do. The men don't care about that. They don't care how big your house is. They don't care how much money you have.
Yeah, the whole checklist thing is over.
They're looking for the come up.
You don't want that.
Right. Lead with your mind, which also means that it's time to probably start covering the body a little bit. It's time to start, leading with this and less of our bodies. Because now everyone's leading with the bodies. You have surgeries and BBLs and all these things that are happening. I'm not judging anybody, but this is the world that we live in, where the body is on display, where the beauty of the body is decreasing every day because it's in abundance. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
We're seeing so much of it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if your man came up to you because you was looking sexy and your breasts were out and your butt is out and you're all this, if he approached you looking like that, guess what? He's going to approach the next girl who looks like that.
Yeah, and the part about everybody looking the same is a big one.
Yes.
And that's like the observation. Attracting what you are. If you look like all the rest of the chicks, you're gonna attract a dude that's just like all the rest of the dudes. So I love that one. And then while you were talking, I was going back to the first one, the soul work. If you know that there are areas that you're lacking, you're not quite sure, or you don't feel fulfilled. It's there's work to be done so that you can lead with your mind, because you're following the crowd if you're not leading with your mind. So it's there's work to be done so that you can lead with your mind, because you're following the crowd.
Well,
So yeah, I love that.
we were going in background for just a quick second. I had to mute it.
Mhm.
No, you're perfectly correct. And you know how you just said, you just mentioned about people talking about, like, what's going on in their mind. I think, and talking about their, maybe the things they're missing or their insecurities or what they want to grow in. We're less likely to even share that with our partners or someone we're dating. Like, maybe being vulnerable a little bit and sharing with somebody, hey, this is where I feel like I lack and where I'm trying to get better. These are some of my insecurities, and you know, yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah,
Sorry.
and
So,
being able to be honest. It takes a lot to be able to be honest with the other person.
yeah.
Um, and taking note of. I'll tell you one thing that I'm appreciating, like right now, just the amount of effort. Um, and I know most of us get into situations and we're apprehensive, we're holding back.
Yeah.
It's like you want a generous, honest, faithful person, then you got your work cut out for you because that's what you have to be.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so it's and being authentic gets you to the truth much faster. So if you just put your own self out there, crazy people can't stop acting crazy for too long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
30 days tops, then it's the crazy is going to come out. So the more
Yes.
you put your real self out there, the more you're going to see their real selves. Um, and we have to let go some of the fear. We got to protect ourselves, but to let go a lot of the fear that goes along with this. You're gonna it's a risk either way you slice it.
Yes. Leading with the mind. Leading with the mind. Right now, men are so thirsty to have an authentic conversation with a woman because they want to grow. There's a lot of men out here who actually want to grow. Even if they don't know they want to grow, their soul is ready to grow.
Hmm.
So if you are just, holding back maybe some wisdom that you have, or some direction that you have, or some nurturing that you have, at some point it has to give on both sides. At some point we got to say, you know what, I'm throwing in the towel. Let me love this person. And at some point men got to do the same thing. Just leading him with your mind, entering his mind and him entering your mind. You
Yeah,
know,
that's enjoyable. It's
it
enjoyable to
is.
meet
It's so
somebody,
enjoyable.
hit it off, have great conversation. That's my favorite thing.
Yes.
That's my favorite thing, to be in that space where you got just all these great questions. Um, and getting to know a person never ever stops. And this is outside of the realm of just relationships. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
your parents, your siblings, there's always something you don't know.
Yep.
So, if you turn yourself into a person who asks good questions, you know
Hmm.
what I mean? It'll bring you to a great space where it's like, I really am getting to know this person deeper and deeper every day.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's so enjoyable. I'm an Aquarius, so, we're a little to the left with things, but that's my favorite thing in the world, just to have a great conversation.
Yes. No, I'm glad you said that, having the great conversation and how rewarding it is.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, and then, another tidbit that can be nice. Let's say you're dating. I say women should try this. It's not one of the original tips, but I'm just throwing this in
A
here.
bonus,
If
yay.
you're dating someone, let's say you're dating someone for like 3 months. How about you say to them, hey, let's read a book together. Do a chapter a week. And then once a week, you guys come together and say, so what'd you get from that chapter? Because I was like, oh, no. Well, I think about this like this, and this makes me think about this like this, and just have a conversation about it.
I know and that's a daily thing with me now. And it's the topic of spirituality. And usually something will come up. What do you think about this? I see it like this. Okay, no, I see it totally different than that. I see it like
Mhm.
this.
Yes.
So it's an expansion. It's an
Yeah.
expansion. The way I put it is like, I always want to expand my idea of what God is, not make it smaller. It's
Right.
expand it. So, the talking and listening, being open minded and receiving, and nobody wants to get stuck in one way of thinking their whole lives.
No,
So,
that's not fun.
we want to look at these people who were making these connections with and seeing them as seeds planted of new ways of thinking.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's, this one is awesome too. Lead with your mind.
Lead with your
No matter
mind.
how fine you are.
Yeah, because we all got I got a little bump and a little pat. We all got a little bump and a little pat. But just yeah, leading with that. And then the last thing I want to say is, ladies, in beginning to date and seek love, it's okay to have boundaries. Because if he can just run in and have every bit of access to you,
Mm.
he's going to think that any other man can do the same thing.
And let's just share some scripts. No, that doesn't work for me.
Hmm.
You ain't got to think too hard about no, that doesn't work for me. Because it
Well,
took, again, I just told you, at 52, it took me many years to understand what a boundary even was, because my parents didn't teach me that. They didn't teach me the language around that.
I didn't get it either.
This
I
doesn't work for me. And that's powerful. It's clear. Don't be talking 2, 3 paragraphs. Oh, well, what had happened was no, this doesn't work for me.
right, right.
Word efficiency. I'm a radio person. Take it from me. Word efficiency is don't use 1,000 words when 2 will do.
Mm,
This does
yeah,
not work for me.
yes, yes. I'm learning how to do that better because I will go on in my conversations. So I'm learning how to do that better. So I'll try to service you in that need of having just in communication. Listen,
No, it's like when something doesn't work, you gotta get short with the words. When it's conversation, yeah, you could go long, but that when it's something you got stop, that's why stop sign is just one word. It's not please, look out for the person on the other side. Apply brakes to your car. No, it doesn't say all that. It says stop.
yes,
Stop.
yes. Well, I'm going to do better with that because yes, I know I can do better with that too.
I'm still working on it.
Yeah.
I'm still working on it. And one thing I will share with it doesn't, we talk about our ages, and it's wonderful to be, fine woman, everybody's fine nowadays. But where you are is just fine. Because sometimes many of us didn't get a lot of stuff.
Hmm.
And sometimes, oh my God, I'm 52. How come nobody ever told me this? Oh my,
They didn't
where
know.
you are is where you are.
Yeah.
And sometimes, it's like for you, I take notes from you. Dang, you're 20 years younger than me. It doesn't matter. It's like, well, Phoenix knows it, so let me take notes on this.
I
Um,
appreciate that. But I
somebody,
told
somebody,
you,
somebody said we should all have a mentor younger than we are, and it's the
I
truth.
agree. I
It's the
agree.
truth.
Yes, I 100% agree. I
Hmm.
I call it cross mentorship.
Hmm.
Yes,
Hmm.
because these kids this age, or at my son's age, the Gen Zers, they're coming with a whole nother level of heat.
And a
And
younger person may not have the blocks,
yep,
because for 50, if you're in your 50s, honey, you got some blocks from your parents and your grandparents that don't even belong on your timeline.
right, right,
So you've got fears in there that they're irrational. You don't know where they came from. Somebody's got to disrupt them, and it's got to be a person who never was exposed to some of the stuff that I might have gotten exposed to.
exactly.
So it's
Um,
a real thing that you have to. And something that turned the corner for all of us was Red Table Talk,
yeah,
Phoenix.
that was
That,
that. Listen, I wish I had a Red Table Talk show because they're how they communicate now. They go 30 minutes. I would go an hour and I would go deeper, but I like where it goes.
all we need is a teenager girl. We are the Red Table Talk.
That's true.
I mean,
This
there's a
is
teenager in here now,
true.
so
This is
Um,
true. We may have to make that happen.
mhm,
I'm
mhm.
serious
Yep, we
because
totally should. We totally
I'm
should.
giving a speech to like 500 teenage girls in November,
Mhm,
and I know how to talk to that age group. I know how to communicate with them so well.
mhm.
I know how to just be real enough where they get it. It has to
It's
be a
always worthy conversation to intergenerational, where you're trading ideas. And Red Table Talk is so great because it's like Willow will say something and Gammy will be like, "What? Well, Gammy, blah, 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 don't you? She's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. I
You
don't
didn't
know
do
what that is.
Right. Well, and
So,
this is the thing, like this new generation is much deeper than we were. They're spiritually
smart.
self-aware. The ones of them that are aware are hella woke, and the ones of them that are not. But it's more of them that are awakened than not.
Well, we must have done something right if the generation behind us is so woke and brilliant.
Or we're doing something really wrong, and they're waking up faster because they're like, it's a hot
Like, we're not doing what they did.
it's a hot mess around here. Let me wake up and fix this because y'all tripping. It's global warming. Stuff the police killing people. Y'all tripping. No, police still killing people, right? The police are still killing people.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
Yeah, like
It's
I
so
think
crazy.
they're waking up not because of a good job we've done, because we've not done a good job. I think they're waking up because they realize there's a need for them to be.
And that's true. That's what we did to our parents. It's
Yeah.
like, no, we can't do this again. Hold up a second.
We were a
So-
catalyst for some things, though, definitely, because we did not perpetuate a lot of the same stuff.
So you want to do a quick recap here? I got we can share all of our banners. Our first.
Yes. So, ladies, the couple who joined us after, so we were going over the tips and just swapping some stories and sharing. So you can go back and listen to this as we're going to close out. But the first tip was sexy on your own. In short, showing up to spaces by yourself, not with 2, 3, 4 women. Showing up confidently as you. Number 2 was find out your non-negotiables. So we're not really talking about the red flags that they show you. We're talking about what are your core needs? What do you need? And making sure that if a man comes into your life and he's not what you need, that you don't waste time there. You put it on. Keep it moving. Yes. Find your non-negotiables and your needs. 3, find someone who speaks your language. So someone, if let's say you guys are of a different religion, you guys are still able to talk and share and respectfully, have a difference of opinion, but then you guys are also of the same yoke. You guys are also able to, I would say communicate and understand where each other's coming from because your values and your character are still the same. Make sure that you're able to talk to that person about life, business, whatever your interest is. Make sure they understand you and you guys speak the same language.
Right.
Number 4 is get out of your regular circle. So that means, as Nikki even pointed out, getting out of your city, getting out of your state, going places. Don't do the same activities that you always do. Separate yourself, go places and do things that are out of your norm so that you can meet different people.
Okay.
And number 5 is to lead with your mind. So me and Nikki discussed that men today are always saying that, hey, women, like, they're the same, their minds are the same, they don't have any substance. These are things I hear all the time. And I always said, man, if I could take my brain and duplicate it across a million people, a million women, like, and that may sound so egotistical, I'm sorry, but because I know somebody may be like, Phoenix don't think right, she don't think right. Somebody can say that, I don't know. But it's almost like I wish that the way I thought was dominance, because I've healed many people close up. And that's what we all are here to do. So women, lead with your mind, lead with your healing, nurturing gift of power. Like, let that person get to see who you are. Be vulnerable. Be open. You know how to be a woman. That's what you are. That's what you've always been. You don't need to hashtag soft life. You are that. You are it. And it's you.
And keep in mind, we're sharing the tips here. If these are things that you practice and awaken in yourself, that's what you're going to attract.
Yep.
A person who is confident on their own, a person who has some values and non-negotiables, speaking their own language, who doesn't follow the crowd, and a person who leads with their mind. If that's what you're looking for, this is all like a no-brainer. This is what you want, so this is what you have to become.
Yeah.
This is girl. I have all the notes in my notebook here. I love it.
Thank you, Nikki. And then what's number 6? Number 6 here we had Was it the boundaries? Did we say the boundaries? Number 6 was boundaries, or did we have
Yeah, I
a?
know there was a bonus one.
Yes, I think it was the just having boundaries about people having certain levels of access to you and your body and blah, 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 blah.
To have
Yeah,
boundaries. That's all. Yeah, and we were
that was
saying it's
really
like it's a new thing for a lot of us.
yes.
And if it is a new thing, it's not going to be comfortable at first.
It is not comfortable.
It's not going to, but all of this is about practice.
Mhm.
Practice. Again, I'm a yoga teacher, but that's why we call it a practice. It ain't something you ever get perfect. You practice it and you just do it every day and you allow yourself to unfold over and over and over again. So, and let me just, I'm going to ask you a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is about dating.
Yes.
Um, Tell us a little bit about how to date and not get attached or get too attached. Because that's when you say date, you're dating
Mm-hmm.
people. And this is what I know. This is one way that men seem to be a lot more intelligent than us. You know what
Yes.
I mean? It's like widen the pool for yourself.
Yeah.
Widen the pool. How do we make that shift as women? Because a lot of us, I know my generation, we're programmed otherwise, but I can see that there's, the logic around, dating, and then you make conscious decisions on who you're going to be with, not just falling down the rabbit hole.
Exactly. So one thing, thank you for that. One way I tell women to date is what works for me initially out of my marriage, and then I tried to do it a different way. It didn't work for me, caused pain and suffering. And then when I went back to this way of dating, like I said
Mhm.
before, it worked. So I
Right.
think women and men, but men are already doing it. Women, please be okay with dating multiple people at a time until you have found foundation with one person. Be okay with on Taco Tuesday you're going out with X, and then on Friday you're going to go out with Y. Be
Mm.
okay with having conversations with them to both of them to just see, you know, what is this person really about? Where's our level of conversation? Does this person hear me? Do I hear them?
Mhm.
Do that with everybody. You are vetting and looking for someone that you're thinking about spending the rest of your life with. You can really spend life by yourself and you would be fine. But you're choosing someone to spend the rest of your life with. And with that, that is a very serious choice because you have to wake up with that soul every single day. So do not pigeonhole yourself into just one choice when that choice could be, you know, hellish to you, or that choice could be end up being disrespectful, or that choice can end up being all these different things. And now you've wasted
Mhm.
a year, 2, 3 years of your life with said choice.
Right. And the problematic situations
Hmm.
will be much more obvious if they're compared to something that's more healthy. It's like, well, I feel much safer in this situation over here. And this
Yep.
person doesn't talk to me. Or this person puts a whole lot more, oh, wait, hold up a second. Because if it's just one situation, it's like it's a blur. Because
Yeah.
that's all that's all it is. And I swear, I don't think I've ever even done that. Like dated multiple people at one time. It's like it's either like one after the other, or just you know, feast or famine.
Mm-mm. When I'm dating, it's I will date multiple people until I have made my choice.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is the thing. Everybody's, the men are out here choosing, the men are out here choosing. They are, but you're empowered yourself as
Mm-hmm.
well as a woman.
Right.
Like you can have whoever you really want. You can attract and manifest exactly what you need,
Mm-hmm.
but you still have to make the decision because this is your life. They're not choosing you. You're not something off of a shelf that they go and buy. No, you are making the choice as well. It's 50-50. Stop giving your 50% over to somebody else and giving them the choice over what your future relationship is going to be like. And the best way to do that is to have multiple situations
Mm-hmm.
respectfully
Mm-hmm.
for yourself and your body multiple situations where you can actually take the time to see and get to know. And you'll know when, if you trust your intuition, listen to yourself, you will know
Mhm.
when it's time to let go of let's say you're dating two or three people, letting go of the extra individuals. You'll know when that's the choice right there. That's the
Wow.
person you're going to be with. You'll feel it and you'll know.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm. Mhm.
but it also
Girl.
helps you see what you don't want faster. See, because when it's just one person and you're fixated on just them,
Mhm.
you tend to like miss very
Yeah.
clear
And
signs.
take a bunch of crap.
Yeah, we don't look at what you're seeing. Look into the spirit of that man that's in front of you. Look at him.
Mm.
If you do that, it'll let you know anything and everything you need to know about him, and if he's supposed to be one next to you or not. You know. But a lot of us have forgot that we know, you know? So when I
Mm.
tell women to date multiple, take a look at every last one of them. Look into their soul. Get familiar with them. Because one of them could be with you for the rest of your life, and you're not trying to marry a stranger.
Right.
And they'll eventually fall themselves off. Like they'll eventually like falls themselves off. They'll eventually knock themselves off the line. They'll
Mm.
eventually bench themselves riding time. Okay?
Bench themselves. I like that one.
That ain't don't worry about that part. You just
Uh-huh.
you just have abundance and of energy around you, and let it pour into you and you pour into it.
Mhm. 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 Girl, this is awesomeness.
So
Awesomeness. Like I said, when you speak, I take notes, girl.
thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I think that's the best thing I could say about that. I know that I have not always dated multiple people and things like that. It comes in waves for me, but
Mhm.
it tends to happen that way. It tends to happen to where if I track one, I'm attracting many.
Mhm. Yeah, I think sometimes it's like flipping the switch. 'Cause I go through long phases of celibacy too,
Hmm.
years and years.
Ooh,
Um,
bless you on that, girl. Bless you on that. I cannot say the same.
years and years is like either it's
Say the same.
off where nobody's even speaking to me, or it's on where it's like, okay, let me put my hood over my head so I can just get out of here without, getting, so
Oh, the women are chiming in on here. Hey, ladies. Hey,
I take notes when Phoenix speaks. Yes, I do, honey. Yes, I do.
hey now.
Um, so
Hey,
yeah, so this is awesome, and we have to be intentional. We're saying we're out here dating.
yeah,
We have to be
yeah.
intentional about these things because everything else in our lives we're very intentional about. But we got to have strategy. So
And I
you
say
know,
the same thing. Listen, I say the same thing to women. Men want to be seen and women want to be heard. We
mm,
want to be heard. Men want to be seen. That's the biggest thing I hear out of women are having substance these days. They're all alike. I hear men say, they, I don't feel seen. Or I go on a date with a guy on the first day. He says, I really feel seen after our conversation. That really matters to them. They are more emotional than we are. And them knowing that you can look at them because the world has not been looking at them. And when the world does look at them, is looking at them as a threat. Some of them who didn't have fathers are needing a woman that's there who can understand that nobody really taught him how to be a man. So you can't take away the last bit of manhood that he got. You know what I mean?
it's real.
They want to be seen. They want to look. They want to be the little spoon, honey. They want to be the little
The
spoon.
little spoon.
They want to be the little spoon.
And now that you mention it, it's been a lot of guys throughout my life where it's like affection. And there's some men who really are not comfortable with physical touch or affection, but
And that's
there's
something
some
that
of them that know themselves enough that they know that they're starved for it, and
right.
they want someone to, hey, let me give you a massage, let me give me a hug, or something.
Yep.
Um, so it's almost like we have to discern very heavily with a lot of our men to
Yeah.
know that we can't feel like somebody, oh, well, these men out here, and then turn around and abuse or take advantage.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's excellent too. Love it.
So we'll in another episode in the future, which it's gonna have to be on the podcast with Neff too in the future. I want to talk about the difference between king killers and king builders. There's two type of women, and what that looks like, because there's a lot of women out here actually breaking men, and he meets the woman of his dreams. He meets the woman he's supposed to be with, but he's so fractured that he can't even see her because somebody else has fractured him.
Well, and the question would be, I know that's a whole episode. It's a whole episode, but who is leading these men to do their work that they have to do on themselves? They have to, it's like I'm seeing more conversations. I'm seeing more, and I'm glad. But we women have been talking and digging for a very long time, and it's like we want to meet the kings too that are vulnerable enough to know themselves.
Yes.
So they got their list of non-negotiables. So they got their list and things like that. So I want to see more men talk and have circles for each other. So
they're starting to do that. I question about how deep those conversations go, but they are starting more of that. Men are starting to talk to each other more. And I 100% agree with you. They do need that level of self-work as well. They do need that. And you know what I'm finding? To me, any man who's over the age, I've said this to men, so I'm going to say it to y'all women listening, because I've said this to men, and they just look at me like, you're probably right. I don't believe a man's a man till he's 40. And that's
Girl, sometimes not even then. It's guys at least 40.
Yeah. That 40 is like, when you turn 40, you just became a man. You just became a man. And I feel that, so now you have to think about, okay, when do they have time to do any self-work? They've been surviving and working and building and creating all their adult life, because their mark of a man is being a provider and being in society, productive man in society. So when has he ever had any time to really work on himself and nurture himself? 9 times out of 10, he hasn't.
That's true.
And so you, as a woman, what you have to understand is that they need your softness. They need for it to feel like I can lay my head on her womb.
And that might take a minute for these brothers to do. It might take a while to feel safe, a long time.
And they're the aggressor on women. It's a cycle of pain that's going on, because men are cheating and lying and sneaking and creeping. And then women are like, well, forget you. And then it just this whole cycle that's moving of each other. And when a man gets a little bit older and he starts to really dive into what he needs and starts to understand himself, all this rigmarole with him tends to slow down. So when I see a man who's over the age of 40 or 45, they never been married, never had no kids, that is a huge red flag to me. So you have anything on the outside of yourself, meaning you have been moving slow as hell and evolving through life. You're evolving slow. Okay. And so sometimes like that would be great if somebody never because what you've been doing all this time. You've been in the streets hurting people. So I'm not here to heal you after you've been out in these streets hurting a lot of people.
Right.
So you gotta be careful about those things too. You gotta be careful of those people who haven't been in a committed relationship in many years.
Girl, okay, see, a story just popped up. There was a young man, younger than me, that I was dating. And what came to me was that how much do I want to reveal?
Like,
so things happened between us. And what I told him, I said, obviously things happen between us too fast. And you're going to have to come to grips with the fact that you're not okay with sex and it happening like that. You're going to have to slow down.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to slow down because he had some hangups, and
His own morals and or his, you know,
right. It's like if it's something that's gonna throw you off, whatever, you're gonna have to stop doing that. We didn't have to do anything.
right,
Why'd you come at me like this if you were not ready?
right.
So that's the
Men,
thing.
men practice celibacy too, and semen retention and other things as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. But
Yeah,
this person didn't know anything about that. So it's like you were not ready. You were not ready. And I
right,
think a man has to get to a certain age before he understands, okay, you can't just default, okay, it's a chick, let me try to holler, let me try to get in their pants. Listen,
right.
you're not ready for everything out here.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's and I love that you put this out here because we can't take advantage of the fact, and I think men have to be self-aware enough to not or to disrupt whatever the default is, the default
yeah,
programming.
yes,
So it's really big, and you'll know when this other person has done their work or done enough work for y'all to come together. So that's
right.
like that's the spidey senses right there. What book you reading? You know what I'm saying? What are you in to heal yourself, or what have you learned? And if they're this X here and they got terrible things to say about all the, oh no,
Mhm. It's nothing sexier to me than a man who's like self-aware.
hot. That's hot.
Like, send me something you want me to look at on YouTube or whatever that you want to discuss later. Yes.
All the time.
Like I love that engagement, and I think because women, um, we do have the need to communicate. I like those little clever ways to spark up conversation and to communicate. Like, let's talk about it.
Child, I can't even explain how hot that is. That's super hot.
Do any ladies out here have any questions or thoughts? Y'all want to chime? Ooh, sorry, y'all.
Mm.
Comments down there. Um,
Okay, so we have a comment here. Hold on, I'm gonna put it up here. I'm starting to feel like we don't meet kings, we make them. I feel like perhaps we can meet potential kings, but it just don't be king until the queen gets her hands on it.
woo!
Ooh, hallelujah.
Listen, okay, listen. Because of that thought that I have that a man's not a man till he's 40, you are absolutely correct. Um, I believe that they are kings in waiting, but they need the right queen next to them to be able to help manifest out of them what they are. So it's,
Mm.
it's there, but we we are the catalyst for them. We give them purpose. When a man finds something to live for or to aim at, that's when he soars. So yes, they're kings in waiting. And unless you date someone older who's already a king, and even he is going to evolve and hit deeper into his kingship when he gets married if he's an older man, because that's what usually happens if you have the right person standing next to you, the right woman standing next to you.
Mhm.
But I would say that yes, they're kings in waiting. You are going to have to put a little work in, but they're going to have to put it in with you as well. It's going to take work to love somebody to their greatness. It's going to take work for them to love you to your greatness. But what you got to learn out the gate is if they're worthy of that or not. See, people getting hurt and relationships are breaking down because the person that they choose is not worthy of that energy and time it takes to really help
They're
take
they're not
them
ready.
from
They're not
80 to
ready.
100. Let's say they are ready from taking them from 80 to 100. You can't take anybody to 100 if they don't even know that they're trying to go in that direction. But if someone comes to you and they are got potential and you see that they want to be better, and as you spend time with them, you notice that like they can handle the growth. I don't think there's anything wrong in helping someone heal and mature into their greatness. You ain't creating the person, but you're helping heal them, or you're a catalyst for their healing. We really can't heal each other, but we're a catalyst for each other's healing.
Mhm. And you know what? I'm going to disagree slightly with because I'm
Okay,
reading
no,
this
go
thing
ahead. Come
over and
on,
over
come
again.
on.
He said we don't meet. There's plenty of kings out here. There's plenty
Yeah,
of
yes,
kings out here.
that too. Yes,
That's
yes.
the thing. We can't say okay, um, because what we said at the beginning was and suddenly. The only
Mm,
thing you're doing half the time is opening your dang eyes. That's it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let me just do this little weekend here in New York City and see what the brothers are talking about. Let me go check this play out. And this really it's a small shift like of an inch. So there's plenty of kings out here. Are you in the places where the kings are? Is the
Yeah.
first thing. Because I know Phoenix is excellent about, you're always in all these different places,
Yeah.
which is why you meet a lot of people. You're in
Mhm.
different places where the kings be at. You
Yes.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So kings not, they don't just sit in the castle. They're somewhere doing something.
Yeah. At the Grand
They're,
Hall.
right. So it's our mindset, and I don't want to put it in there like, hey, we don't, yes, there's kings out here to meet, and they might need like some heal. You're gonna heal a lot when you get with somebody.
Yeah.
But I've been there and done that with the making him the
You ain't making him from scratch,
no,
To
no,
me,
no,
he
no,
needs,
no,
to
no.
me, he needs to be 80% where he's trying to be. To me, a
Right.
man
A friend of mine
needs
calls that the build a bear dudes. We don't want no build a bear. We
no.
want, king. Yeah, he's almost it's loading 98%. You might want to bring the 2%, but you don't want to bring the 57% or 69. You don't want to do all that.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, so it's balance. It's balance.
Yes. And anybody have any more questions?
Mm-hmm. And
I
somebody
know
said, be where the kings be.
what Kings Bay. I know that I had one woman tell me, she was like, she said, well, I'm just a blank, and like put her career, like I'm just a this. And the men that we attract are really bottom of the barrel, like not good, like guys who don't have nothing going on for themselves, this, and that. Like she kind of put down her profession, basically bringing up that, right? And I told her, Tiger Woods married a nanny, honey. And there's plenty of men out there who have married women of various socioeconomic status, and even women who didn't have nothing.
Value,
So let's start
value,
there. Right.
value.
Let's start there. Two, there's nothing wrong. Okay, you got your profession, you only make a certain amount of money. There's nothing wrong with you saying once a month, I'm going to go to some free black or whatever, whatever your race is, a free networking event for like black young professionals or what may have you. There's lots of them out there. If you want to step up the level of men that you attract, then you have to prepare yourself for that next job. You have to carry yourself as someone who wants to be with someone. To me, if a woman's showing all of her body, she's not, I don't think she's reflecting, hey, I'm ready to get married and have babies tomorrow. I think she's reflecting, hey, we're going out and partying. Let's get it.
And,
I'm not talking about going on a beach or some special event. I'm talking about like
right.
the way these girls are actually dressing right now in the clubs. It's, well, in Houston, it's crazy. I'm like, wow, it's crazy.
And let me just insert, it doesn't matter what your profession, that doesn't stop you from going to where the kings are.
That's what I'm saying. Still
It doesn't stop you from doing that. It
present
doesn't
yourself
stop
the
you
way
from
you.
being in
Right.
the circle, learning the way this circle moves, the language, what people are watching. It doesn't stop you from moving into different spaces.
Exactly.
And that's where your soul work comes in. You might have to pray and meditate and EFT tap on yourself to get that confidence, or either get out there and be uncomfortable. Let me tell you something. The things that we do, it might look easy, but honey, I'm in here in tears many days trying to push out new ideas.
Right.
So don't let anybody tell you, hey, it's all easy and sparkly and wonderful for everybody. It's not. There's tears and pain behind everything you see anybody doing out here.
Exactly. Say that. Say
Right.
that.
So you being out here and saying, hey, I want to connect with another level of people that I'm seeing as separate of myself. It will be painful at first, but you keep practicing.
Yes.
Practice the thing. Practice.
Yep. And have confidence. Men
Mhm.
have constantly said about women that a confident woman gets can get it every time.
Yes, we can.
Say this. It's a confident woman who walks in there like she is the HBIC. That's the woman that they're going to turn to because her energy radiates like, yes, I know who I am. That's what I walk in with every time.
Girl, listen, you got a super duper dose of it.
So I'm saying, yes, don't let your income and what you perceive about your career limit you from.
Girl, we got to pray on this right now. We got to pray on it. What do you think a woman can do to convey confidence to men? Number one, convey confidence to yourself. That's what I would say. Convey confidence is not to men, it's
I would
confidence
say
to yourself.
posture. So a woman, so one of my friends of 25 years, her and the group of my friends in Denver, they call me the Grand Dame Beast. They've been calling me that for 10 years, the Grand Dame Beast. Because they said one day we were all going out to a nightclub, not like a restaurant or something, but like a nightclub. We were going to go dance and have a good time. She said they saw me walking up the street with a strut, and they was like, "Who is that? That's a Grand Dame Beast watch. She owned it up in here." And that's how I walk into a room. I walk with my back straight.
That's it. That's it.
My head is either straight forward or it's slightly tilted up because I'm looking at everything.
Right.
There's a level of class in how I tend to wear my hair, how I tend to wear my nails, how I tend to wear my toes. The clothes I wear, I'm covered. My body is usually covered 70% of the time. Every now and then I wear something that'll have my legs out, but if my legs are out, everything else is covered fully outside. So I don't.
That's a good tip. That's a good tip. One thing, I think it's fine for you to display one thing at a time.
Yes.
And that's body confidence. I'm all about the body, love, body positivity. Pick one thing to accentuate. Because sometimes it's like, hey, I really want to accentuate or show this today. I'm feeling this way. But I think that's excellent. And also I'm gonna jump in and because you talk about the posture, I'm gonna recommend some yoga too, because that is getting in touch with your body and your mind and your spirit at the same time. So that self-awareness can come from within. And just like I said, all of these healing modalities that we've been talking about, they work. Yeah. They work. Set aside some time every day to just connect, spend some quiet time with yourself, flow with the body and in the breath, and just sit there and be comfortable. Can you sit and just be comfortable with who you are and where you are in your life right this second? Right. That's like your confidence, right? It's a confidence builder to just do it every day, to have a practice to get into your body. It's so simple that a lot of people are going to miss it, but it works.
Also, another tip for confidence is find you a nice scent. I tend to go with 100% rose oil. I have some Arabian 100% rose oil, Moroccan. I have like 10 different rose oils.
That's an attraction oil too. That's an attraction oil.
And it's real oil, so it's not like a perfume that was made it inside of a lab. It's the oil, so it's which they were made inside of a lab too. But you know what I'm saying? It's pure, has a different scent, has a different vibration. And I noticed that sweet scent men tend to like as well. And when you smelling good, when
nobody else smells like that rose oil.
Good, and when you know that what you're wearing is everything, that automatically radiates confidence. When you're looking good, right? You're too busy looking good. And the thing is, wear things that you feel great in. Wear something. If you're looking at me like, oh, I ain't really feeling this, take it off, honey. Take it off. All night it's gonna be in the back of your head. I don't really like how I look, and it just sits in the back of your head. Take it off, put on something else. Make sure when you walk out the door, you're like, oh, I know I did this.
I'll throw one more thing in there. When I learned this one, the word enough, because I think as a young girl, I remember you're always thinking you're not pretty enough, or smart enough, or fine enough. That's what I tell myself in the mirror every day. I'm pretty enough. And when you are enough, where you stop looking for more of it, I'm enough. So, it's I ain't gotta be Halle Berry.
Right.
Pretty enough. I ain't gotta be Beyonce. I'm pretty enough. I'm pretty enough to do this thing. I'm smart enough to do this thing. Stop questioning. When you just stop questioning whether you have enough of this thing, that's when it's all good. You know, um, and we forget, but you gotta come back. You know what? I'm enough, just like this, just like this.
Just like this.
Hmm.
Now, I gotta say something else
Hmm.
because you made me think about this with your enough comments. I have attracted just as many men, no makeup on my face.
Men
They
love the no
feel like
makeup. They love that no makeup thing. It is a thing.
I went out of town for actually because I'm so busy. The last two business trips I had out of town, I completely forgot my makeup.
Oh, that's major.
This last trip, I just had some lashes and some glue. That's it. I was in there with the pop of lashes. That's all I had. And the trip before that, I had no makeup. I had
Mm.
no makeup. And don't you know? Oh, and no wigs, no clip-ins, because I'd have locks and I'll put clip-ins in my locks to time to give a bigger effect. I have none of that. And when I tell you, brought all the boys to the yard, they were like, "Who is that?" And I was around there feeling insecure, like, I ain't got on no makeup, my dude. I'm out here bare face looking like somebody's raccoon, my dude. Like,
But
this
I
is
think the men are on to us. That's what it is, Phoenix. They see so many women with so much going on with the makeup and so much happening. You know what I'm saying? When they say, "Oh, okay, listen, I can see that she is natural and she's cute. Let me go holler." And that's you might have been the first woman in miles and years that they saw without too much
exactly,
going
exactly. It's interesting. Interesting. My partner, someone I'm dating, was said to me, "Listen, I like when you get beautiful and you get makeup and stuff on, but you can leave that out to everybody in the public. I like this right here."
Same, honey. Same over
That was
here.
music to my ears. I was like, "Oh, you think I'm cute?"
Yeah, but and we in all these years, I thought they didn't mean that, but they really do
They
mean it
really
because
do.
I
They
this
want
that's
to
the
see
same
you.
thing. That's the
They want to
same
see.
thing I heard. It's like, just you're beautiful in the morning with nothing, just whatever.
Come on, beautiful in the
Um,
morning. Come on, beautiful in the morning.
so it's like really, so they don't need that. They don't want it. They want the real you. And we've been taught otherwise that we got to do and show and act and do all these things to get a dang man, honey. No, you don't.
Right,
You
right,
don't.
right.
Hmm.
Yeah. No, you are correct.
Let me get my church fan out here, girl, because this thing got hot in here.
Look at my little
Make,
piece of puppy's face
make,
over here.
make me a homemade church fan up in here.
That is, and that's what's interesting. It's like, you know, they tell us all the time what they need, and what we're not listening to them, and they're not really listening to us. Um, we're getting better, but we're not listening to each other because they've been told women take off the lace fronts, stop wearing all that makeup. I want to see your face. They've been told us this. They've been told us this. And we ain't listen. I didn't do it because of them, because I'm gonna do what I want to do regardless of what they want anyway. But when I test it out by mistake and I
Mhm.
don't have any makeup, I know that what they're saying is true because their reaction to me shows that. So maybe we should be listening to them when they tell us that this is actually what they prefer.
And the older I get, I think just having you're just not worried.
If we want to get one of them, let me preface that. If we want to get a man, if you ain't trying to get a man, then maybe you probably shouldn't care about maybe what they want or need. But if you want a
Hmm.
man, you should know what they want and need, just like they need to know what you want and need.
Hmm. 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 Girl, I love it. I love it. I know we could probably talk for a few more hours.
I was going to ask you, was there anything else?
Yeah, and let us know in the comments, like I say, if you're watching the
They cracked me
replay,
up.
is this something that you would like to see more of, or if there's a specific question you want answered, or a specific topic, or even if there's a guest,
Mm-hmm.
someone that you want to hear from, let us know. Because again, it's been an organic process. This was born out of a conversation we had maybe last week, and we're like, let's just jump on live and talk about this,
Yes.
because we have to create our own safe spaces as women to reflect, to give each other feedback, and to share what works and what doesn't work. And I know for me, it's been an internal thing where if you get that internal fire started, honey, listen, ping, 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 ping.
Mhm.
Um, so it's wonderful. It's wonderful that we've had this time together.
Thank you so much. And thank you for this first live movement. I feel like, man, we got one done. So now I know a little bit of
Mhm.
how to do it.
Yeah, 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 totally.
I
So
love it.
we'll look in the comments and see what you guys are saying, and
Yes.
next time we'll come with a little bit more.
Yes. And we can talk about a particular topic or just, yeah, what may have you, as Nikki said. But thank you all so much. Thank you for the few ladies who popped in and gave your comments. It was fun. I appreciate you. This is going to go up on pieces of it on IG and, of course, on YouTube. So you guys can check it out whenever you have time.
Awesomeness. Thank you so much, ladies. Thank you for coming through. I could feel all the good energy,
Yes.
when folks were jumping in. So everybody have a wonderful evening,
Yes.
and we'll see you next time.